Here she is. How you
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good, good. So, yeah, today we're gonna have something really, really interesting, and that might interest a lot of you guys. Actually, but you know that Julie, we got a lot of questions about people, and the main question they ask us: should I buy a business? Should I start something from scratch? And I guess,
And there's something in between, actually. So, like,
yeah, yeah. So let's go.
all right. So there's no. It always depends of the goal. So I always ask, so what are your goals? And so and then it helps me. Not everybody. So like me, I wouldn't buy a business. Or maybe I would, but I would transform it or I would rebrand it because the part that I like the most about, creating a business is the branding and doing the logo and all of that. That's the part that I love the most. But not everybody is like me. So if you don't like that part, then just go with one that is, already running and operating, and that will be maybe better for you. But when you buy a business, and you probably know, when you buy a business, you have this, you have to take what's coming with the business. So it's not always rainbows. You didn't
and
get to.
actually, I have to admit, I don't know about you. We haven't talked about it before, but I have a strong. s- I would be afraid, to be honest with you, not 100%, but I would be afraid to buy a business for the sole reason that I don't know the whole story, and it's
Yeah,
hard to know the whole story about a business. And
yeah,
since you're buying in the US, and especially for you guys in Canada, like in the US, it means that you can sue for everything. I mean, for
yeah.
everything. And if there's anything that happened with the business before you got the business and you're not aware of, then you may end up being responsible. I'm not saying that it's going to happen every time, of course not, but it's a liability.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, there are ways to make sure to protect yourself, but yes, and you have to understand that, when you have a listing of businesses for sale, you always have like a reason why they are selling, but
Yeah.
they can say whatever. Yeah. So they're like retiring, but like they're 40 years old, or they're always there. If the business, especially if it's an absentee business, why do you need to sell if it's like it's making money without you, um, actually working in your business? So you just have to ask yourself questions. Sometimes I'm like,
Actually,
just,
excuse me,
yes.
but is there such a thing as 100% absentee business, or is it like a? To me, it feels a little bit like a unicorn because
Well, what's
there's
well,
such a
the
thing as an
definition of
absentee business.
absentee, the definition of what we call absentee owners is not like someone who's never there. It's someone who's not involved in the operation.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, there's still need to grow the business, need to network, need to, but not there every day for the daily operation. That's why we call an absentee owners. But you're still going to work. You're still going to do something. And a lot of people actually have a full-time job and they can still have a business. And this will be considered an absentee, owner
yeah.
business. But yeah, but when you buy a business, um you didn't get to pick like the location, you didn't, and you will have to get the lease, which the terms are the lease are not very negotiable, unfortunately. So
Mhm.
you kind of get things that maybe you don't want, but you have a business that's been running, customers, the name, the reviews, the what we call the goodwill. You have this already, so you're starting a little ahead. You're starting with maybe some issues or problems, but you're starting ahead. So when you start a business, you do have the option to, you can do everything you want. So you can pick the location you want, the price you want to pay your lease. You start from scratch with employees, with um, y- anything, just the furniture. It's gonna look like what you want.
Like you, it's going to be, yeah.
Exactly. So you can name it the way you want. You can decide the colors of the logo, the website, everything. So that is a plus, but also sometimes it's scary because you're starting in a new environment. You don't know anybody, and yes, it could be scary.
It can be
But
daunting, yeah.
yeah, but it's
But on the other hand, if you're not 100% sure about, let's say, about yourself, there's always the possibility to buy a franchise.
you
If you're a
can do.
franchisee of a, let's
Yeah.
say, just an example of a McDonald's, chances are if you follow the recipe, you do the thing, you don't try to do fried chicken, you follow the recipe,
You
and
follow
if
everything,
you do
yes.
it, it's gonna work.
So, but again, the franchises. So personally, I'm not a fan of
No,
franchises. I know you don't have any problem with it, but personally, and the reason is because it's so restrictive, and I don't like when everything is restrictive. You're trying to make, I don't know, you're buying a sandwich shop and you want to make a sandwich that different, and
but
you
that's
can't.
really personal to you. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. It's like personal to what you like, and then they won't let you. And or you're trying to, the best example I can give you is during the pandemic. You was still needed to pay the franchisor every month, even though you were not operating sometimes. And you could not even adapt to your business. At the time, I remember here restaurants started doing more like catering, or a lot of things changed, but it was very hard for franchises because they have rules to follow, and you can change the rules eventually, but it has to go through a board, and so it's just not something you can do quickly. And that's why I don't like the franchise model, because
principle.
you pay a lot. So I was talking to a broker actually yesterday about a sandwich shop that is for sale, and it's a franchise. I'm not going to name it, but it's a franchise. But it's not a franchise that is well known. And by taking, so the suggestion was to make it just your sandwich shop, like a Subway. It's not Subway, by the way, but and you make your own, because that's what people want. They don't care about the franchise name because they don't really know about it, so they were going there
At that point,
because, yeah, they
if
want.
it was a strong brand, it would be different, like
Yes,
McDonald's. But it's
yes,
not.
exactly. But they're not even, they don't care about that. They're going there because they're used to getting a sandwich. They have Starbucks on the side. So it's it, it will be easy to take this shop and change little things. And I'll by the way, they the French, because you have, when you have a franchise agreement, it expires. So it did expire, and now they're month to month, so you could actually change it. And by taking what they give to the franchisor every month, they'll save, I think it's 1,200 a month, just by making their own sandwich. And this one is not even restrictive. Sometimes you even have to buy all of your supplies, their food, everything has to come from them, and then they don't make it very cheap. So you have to look into the restriction of the franchise you are interested in, but a lot of them are very restrictive. There's another model that I like better. It's the license model, and a lot of businesses, that's how they do things now, because
Actually, some, to be completely transparent, some of our clients, that's let's be specific on a cleaning business model.
Mhm.
You've owned a cleaning business, you know the business and the
Mhm.
ins and out of that business, and we've helped people in the cleaning business because it's a service business. It's nothing's
Yeah.
easy in life, but it's quite easy to scale.
Yes.
And since you know all the ins and out, without franchising, but you can tell the client, here's the model, here's the recipe,
Mhm.
follow it, and you'll be happy.
Well, you can take so when you do a license, because if it looks like a franchise, it is a franchise, and it's regulated uh, by the federal government, but also each state. Some states don't have anything, like Texas, for example, doesn't have
Mm.
anything, but so it's very regulated. But if you do a license, you just have more freedom, and you actually sell a method. So if you
Yeah.
I can give the example of CrossFit is not a franchise. It's actually pretty cheap to own the name CrossFit. You don't have any restriction. Well, you do, but it's very like simple, and you don't have to. Um, it's a monthly an annual fee that you have to pay, and if you decide that you don't want it anymore, well, you cannot use that name anymore, but
But that's
you
it.
can do whatever you want. Exactly. So, and I feel like you have all of the support of a franchise agreement, because they do give support, and like you have a method to follow. But if you don't want to, well, you're free. You can walk away and do something else. And so that's a reason why I like it much better. And usually
Mm.
you would have options for the services you would like to subscribe, so you don't if you don't need any help with marketing, well, you don't have to pay them for marketing. If you don't need help with anything else, you don't have to pay them monthly if you don't feel like it.
Mhm.
So
So it's a good model.
yeah.
It's not, and especially because also I get most of the people that are here with us now, they're going for the E2 visa. So
Yeah.
that model will fit because we see often even on our page, this business is like pre-approved E2. There's no such thing as pre-approved E2 business
I mean,
unless
there's
unless the
probably,
previous owner was on an E2 visa. Okay,
well,
I get it.
even there, it doesn't mean that it's still an
That
like
is bulletproof for E2. It doesn't
yeah.
mean that at all.
Yeah, because if they're selling, maybe there's another story to it. But
Yeah.
it just means that you check the criteria. But it doesn't mean that you cannot convert another business. So I'm doing this right now. I'm converting a business that is not eligible at all for it's a transportation business, but I'm
Can you
making
tell
it.
us a little bit more about that business without being too specific, but just to have a rough idea?
Well, it's a business that uses brokers to for and contractors to do transport around the U.S. It only has one employee, and the ratio of vehicle versus the goodwill is too high. So I'm making the business plan to change all of this and make it E2. So we're just transforming the business to make sure that
Me-
we can
Meaning to have more employees.
to have more employees, yes, but convert some of the contractors as W2.
Yeah.
Um, and we will have to change the little things, because the current owner is not a trucker, but the new owner will be. So we have to change that as well. So and hire someone for dispatch, and but they're making enough money. It's just the way it is structured now will be hard for the E2, and we're just making some changes, to make it like this, just the little things. But in this one, it has a lot of little things that we have to change. But at the end of the day, it will work for the E2.
Okay. You guys, if you have question, please do ask your question. Go forward in the channel. I posted links that you can connect and watch the video through this link. The way this system is, you have to be not in the group but on the page in order to comment and so for us to see your comments, and then we can address the question. And feel free to ask your question. We'll be more than happy to answer them. So I know you prepared a little something.
Yes.
Maybe we can go forward with it. Just hold on a second. Here it is. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about the whole thing.
Yeah, so there's a lot to it, but it's the E2 option. So you have so many options, but with options you also have risk. So some options will be bulletproof almost for getting the E2, and some of them will be risky, very risky. So one of the risky ones is the one on the right side, the startup. You start up after you get the E2. So basically you provide, you still have to do some work, but you provide the business plan, and you did not really start yet, but you will when you get the E2. That's risky. That's you may get it. I'm not saying you will not, but it's just more risky. But if you get a business is already in operation, and it's has employees already, and it's making good money already, as a lease and all of this, you're pretty sure you're gonna get your visa. And the thing is, sometimes people say, well, I'm just gonna try. Yes, but you're gonna spend money trying, so do it right the first time, so you don't get to spend all of the money on the attorney and the business plan and this and this, and then it's gonna get denied. So try to be as in operation as possible if you're starting. But if you if you're buying, just make sure that the business is strong. It has, or you provide a business plan to go with it. So you could buy. I'm looking at one right now. You could buy a business that is about 40, 50,000. And actually I'm looking, so it's someone I know is selling a cleaning business. There's two. So he has two. He has one in Texas and one in Florida. But the price, there one is like 30,000 and the other one is like 42, I think. So as you see, it's not like that would not work for the E2 like that.
Unless you invest more into advertising and stuff like that.
So one of the problem we have to go. So they all have contractors. So we just have to switch them to employees, W2. Yeah, and then we have to provide with a business plan with what kind of investment can you make to make sure that you get to, like your investment will be substantial, so that will work for the E2. But everything else is there. They have a structure. They already have clients. They have they have a good model. They have good ranking on Google. So that is the 40 or
and there's always this magic number that it's there, but it's not there, but it's highly suggested, but it's never mentioned. And it's the 100K that you have to invest in a business. of course, the immigration don't pretend it has to be 100K, but they always say it has to be substantial. And we know from experience that substantial to them means
Well,
100K.
it's funny because when I started this a long time ago, like 15 years ago, we were talking about that same number. It's like,
Yeah.
of course, it changed. Like maybe it was possible at the time to get something less than that, but we were still saying, telling people that they had to invest a substantial amount, and it was 100,000. So it's still like right now. I think it's even more important to get to that point. But all of the everything that I do usually will never go less than 80,000,
Yeah.
because if you go lower than that, well, it's very risky. You may not find an attorney to take your case. Well, you will, because you're always gonna find
They're
that
always
one that
hungry
doesn't
for,
care.
customer.
But but the attorneys I work with, they wouldn't take your case.
No.
So you just have to have a strong a strong case. And if you have problems, and that's why I have the source of funds, like people, what did they do to get the money for the E2?
Mhm.
When you start a business, and I want to be clear on that, so when you start, it's a startup, you have to have the amount in a bank
Ready.
account in the
Yeah.
US, but you don't have to invest the whole entire amount right away.
But you have to
So
show that you have it ready.
yes, and then you have to show in a business plan how you're planning on spending it. Okay, so
Yeah.
if let's say you want to start, again, I'll take my cleaning business example because it's easy. So if you want to start a cleaning business, you can start a cleaning business with less than 100,000. That's for sure, right? Yeah. So you just buy everything you need to buy. So the equipment you have to buy. So you have like the structure, the website, the advertisement, So you're investing. You have to have a lease, all of this. So you invest like 30, 40,000, and then you can apply for the E2, showing that in a bank
The
account you have the
process,
rest,
you're gonna spend.
and the business plan will show how you're going to spend it, and that's it.
Because what you're saying is that you don't have to spend the 100K up front the
No.
very first day that you open
No.
the business, as long as you show in your business plan that during the duration of the visa, you're going to spend that amount of money. And believe me, if you want to be in business, and especially in a service business, you have to spend in advertisement. If you want to make some money, you have to spend. You have to spend. That's the design of the game.
Yes, and that's one of the problems sometimes when they don't go with a franchise model, because a franchise model has this pro of telling them that they have to spend. You must spend this amount, or sometimes it's a flat fee, sometimes it's a percentage.
It's a good idea. I don't mean to force them, but to be aware that you have to spend this money. Otherwise, you're just gonna fail.
Exactly. Yeah. So they know that if you spend that amount of money in advertisement every month, then you're gonna get a return. People are scared of spending money in marketing. They're scared. For them, it's like throwing money out the window.
For many people, and especially like you and I, we're French Canadian, and we're not like, compared to a lot of our clients that are Indians or Pakistan or places like that. They're really more like business savvy than French Canadian. And for French Canadian, I don't know for what reason. We can talk hours about this. For them to spend in advertisement, it's not really well considered. It's considered as losing money. No, it's not.
Yeah. Yes,
No,
exactly.
but
I see that all the time, and and there's a reason why the franchise will make you spend the money, because they know that you need to. But anyway, so that's something else. But here I wanted to talk about the sources.
Just a second, because I have a question. This Facebook user, That said, how can we convert the E2 to green card or the EB5? We're going to talk about it, but maybe just in a not now, but in maybe 10-15 minutes from now. Bear with us, okay? And there's a way. There's a way to get your green card if you're on an E2, okay?
Yes. All right. So people that get my clients actually get their money. Well, they're selling everything they have, so they're really selling everything they have. And they, sometimes they're selling their house, and they're gonna rent for a little while in the U.S. So they actually have the money to spend. And then, of course, they have savings, so they're using all of their saving. But please don't think it's money that you are throwing out there. It's an investment. It's an investment that will, your business, you'll be able to sell it. Your business will bring you the green card. The business will,
It
give
will
more
generate
opportunities
wealth and
to your
value.
children. Yes, exactly. So it's really an investment. And or sometimes a loan, but loan has to be, you can get a loan, but it has to be secured by something else than the business. So if you own a house and you want to have a mortgage on the house that is already paid, and you can use that money because it's coming from an asset that you already own. But other than that, you cannot have a loan. You can actually have someone giving you money, but you have to know that all of this money will be investigated by the immigration, and most people don't want to be investigated by the government. So
Um,
they have to. Sometimes it's, my dad said he was gonna give me money, and then I said, okay, does he want to be investigated?
but first,
No.
if it's the way you're going to do it, make this money available now, not after. You should
Oh
have it
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. So this is something that
If
so
it's
do you
only a
take that
promise,
money? Yeah, but you take this money and
okay.
you have to put it in a bank account in the US. And so very important, again, when you start the process, at some point we'll ask you to switch, we'll ask you to take your money.
Yeah.
You take the money and you put it in a bank account in the US, not in Canada. So the
No,
money will have to be transferred in the
for
US.
your own
I
country if you're
say
not Canadian. Yeah.
no, yeah, sorry. I was thinking Canada, because that's sometimes a problem, that people, they have the money, but they somehow don't make, or it's a saving account, they can't really transfer it. It's hard to get. So you have to have
Anyway,
the
if
money in
if
the
you
US.
guys are working with us, we're going to tell you all of this because
Yes, yes,
you're
yes,
going to
yes.
have, in one way or another, you're going to have to disclose all of your belongings, where's your money, what you're going to bring to the table in the business and everything. And the best way, be transparent.
And up there, you have, when you're buying a low cost. I was explaining how it is, so you can buy something very low cost, and then you just show the business plan how you're going to spend the money. You also have the buying with a partner. However, I have this question almost every day.
Yeah.
Um, can I buy with a partner? Yes, but like, it's not 50-50. Like, it's not 50,000 to make out 100,000. No, you still have to invest. Each of you need to invest this, like, the
Significant.
closer, yeah,
Yeah.
the closer to 100,000 as possible. So and you have to own at least 50%. So I have this, oh, I'm fine, I have a partner, we're gonna invest 50-50. No, it's
No.
not gonna work. And the best, the business plan, if you buy a business that's already like about this 100,000. I already have employees and everything. You don't need a business plan, and it's fairly easy to the process is fairly easy. And on the left side, I have the investing. So if you want to come to the US and you want to invest in a business that's already operating, again, you need to own at least 50% of an entity. So sometimes we have that, we kind of split, we make different entity. And so when it's like a big business, we would create another entity on the side. And then so the E2 applicant will have 50% of this entity, even though there's like a bigger company next to it. So this is something that we can do. And also we have the E2 essential employee.
So to bring the question
Yes.
of this participant,
Yes. Well, that's one of the options.
One of the way that you can get the green card. So
I'm gonna start with the EB5 though. Okay, so the best. Yes, that's actually the best. The best way to get your green card with an E2 is to be able to get the EB5 at some point. So the EB5 is when you invest a lot of money, close to 1 million. And then you create 10, 12 jobs, and then you can get your EB5, which lead to the green card. So that's the best way. That's not always possible. By the way, if you go to there's a map somewhere. It tells you where you can invest less money, because they have areas in the US where the unemployment rate is high. And so if you invest and you create a business in these areas, you don't need to invest 1 million. I think it's a little less now. It's 800,000. I think so. There's a map that exists, so you look it up. And actually, I live in one. I live in one of them that if you invest in my area, you don't need your full 1 million. But that's one of the way. The other way that is more common is
for the people, Julie, for the people to understand. Of course, if you want to move to Miami, it's going to be more than 1 million. If you want to move to Mississippi, Kentucky, or places like that,
it depends. If you're going if you're going into like the big city, usually it's harder. But if you're like more in the
and there's a reason for that, because they want to bring investors, so the threshold is less high in some rural areas or more poorer areas, and it makes sense. You want to bring investment there, so the threshold is less high. And if you want to come to Miami or Vegas or places like that, it's going to be
because the investment, the E2 and the EB5, actually the only reason behind that is job creation. That's the only reason why they do exist. So it's not even the investment, it's really like the job creation. So that's one of the way. The other way is, so when you get an E2, your spouse will get the right to work. So usually the person who has the stronger skill that can work for a big company and get sponsorship, it's a good way, and it's pretty easy. And I would say that's the way I would choose.
So you put essentially what you do, you put your spouse and as an essential employee of your business.
No, yes, but we're gonna, because when you can do that, but that's not my favorite choice, because my favorite choice would be to get a sponsorship with another company because
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
like if the spouse works for like a big company, a
IBM
technology,
or yeah.
or hospital, whatever, you get the sponsorship from there, them, and then everybody in the family get to get their green cards. But if talking about what you say, we don't call it a essential employee too, because it's the spouse, so it's different. But if the spouse work in the business and the business is growing and there's a need for this person to work in the business, and because the skills, or the experience and that, well, then the business at some point, when it's big enough, can sponsor the
The
spouse,
spouse. Yeah.
and then
And it's Julie, it's easy to justify because normally you would have complete trust in your spouse. So it can make sense to have your spouse as an essential employee of your
yes, but
business.
you have
And
to
you work in the same business, of course.
yes, but you have to show. But why do you have to hire this person
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not
Yeah.
an American, because that's the goal of the visa anyway. But sometimes you can do that. You say, well, we need somebody who can speak that language, or you
Well, we
can
have this client, Julie. This guy, he has a restaurant and he makes French Canadian poutine.
yeah.
So so the spouse would be like the person who makes because you're from the same culture, so it makes sense.
Yeah, eventually, but the business has to grow to a point, and sometimes the people don't want to wait that long. So the biggest problem I
Absolutely.
see is because of the children. Childrens are aging out of the visa, and then they have
Yeah,
to
that's
have
yeah.
like a quick
I
option.
have a very, very interesting question while we're talking about the EB5. Can I invest in so many business like restaurant plus gas station plus cleaning service to reach the 1 million threshold, or all my business must be under the original business or the same umbrella? I applied for E2, but then again, your business can be. I don't know. What's your take on this?
Well, I would say, you could probably do like you can still have your entity, but you have to, you cannot be just an investor. You have to have like be
It's not an
involved.
investment company. Yeah.
So it's not like you're giving money and then whatever, and
Like
then
we
this
have this,
money will.
Julie. We have this client of ours. They're opening a cleaning business, and you know what I'm talking about. And the guy, that's the spouse, but the guy is also interested in car detailing. So
Oh
the
yeah.
interesting thing is that you can not merge the business, but kind of under the same umbrella or the same
Yes.
brand name, let's say. So he does the car detailing, and the wife takes care of the cleaning part, and so they can have employees in both
Yeah,
and
but
under the same umbrella in
you
the
can.
same
Yeah,
business.
but you can actually have. Okay, so if it looks this, so if it's a cleaning a car, cleaning a house, or cleaning a boat, it will work. You don't have to ask permission. But you can actually do something completely different. So we did have it's a long time ago, but a client was doing custom frame, and then they wanted to open a video making business, whatever, under the same umbrella, the E2. They did ask for the permission because it was totally different. They got the permission to do it. So it was under the same E2. They were you can do whatever you want. Actually, sometimes it's not like a maintenance, like handyman versus cleaning. Well, you can make this work because it's maintenance. Both of them is maintenance, is residential. So I don't think you need a permission for that. And we actually have clients that very well that does it right now.
Mhm.
So both of them are well, yeah, they work. They do the cleaning and they do the handyman within the same E2 umbrella.
Okay. So it makes sense. So as long as you as it's the same corporation of something, let's say similar, it
Hmm.
makes sense. But it
Yes.
cannot
Well, no,
be
no.
like
Yeah,
you
but you
wouldn't
can ask
suggest,
permission. Yeah.
but you wouldn't suggest like like an investment company.
It will be hard. I mean, and I'm not even saying you. If you look online, you'll find businesses that do say you invest here and we're going to take care of everything. So they will actually do it for you. It's like a little bit like, like you give your money to this company. So you're actually investing. They're going to make you a role. Like they're going to say you're going to be the whatever operation, but you're not going to do anything. And then and they will hire your people and everything. So yes, you can do that. It's possible. It's possible, but
Okay.
yeah.
But it has to be really
Yeah.
specific. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So we can come back to the graphic. Hold on a second. Here it is.
Well, but we didn't talk about the E2 essential employees. So we did not even talk about it. We spoke about something else. So
Yeah.
the real E2 essential employee is actually to help you out in your business. So I've had clients, they just needed help, and they could not find a good helper in the US. Sometimes, and a lot of times, is the language is the problem. So they need someone with the language skills, someone who can talk to the customer, and they feel like they can because their English is not really good. So they will hire someone. So it has to be from the same nationality. So if you're from France, it needs to be French. If you're from Canada, it needs to be from Canada. So you have to uh, hire someone who would help you in the business. The good thing about it is, well, that person that you hire, they will be good because they are attached to you. So they'll show up in the morning and they'll
Yeah.
work, and then there will be, very good employees. But the bad thing about it is they don't count as, if you were planning on having 3 employees, well, the person won't count as an employee because they have to be Americans. But if you need the help, you need a manager with um, uh, I don't know, if you're from a country and you developed an idea over there and you had someone who was really good at it in your business there, well, you can bring that person, um, or someone that that has strong skills and the field that you're in the US. Then you can bring them as E2 essential employees. And the good thing about it is they get the visa that they get, their spouse will be able to get a job. So that's also a plus.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
So it's one of the way that we can suggest to come to the question that we had before. So if you're asking how can I convert my E2 into a green card,
Yeah.
that's a credible way to do it.
And there are other ways that are so complex that we're not going to talk about it. But some people develop ideas and then they bring it to the immigration and then they get their visa, their green card with it. There are ways, but those are the main ones. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's you had another. Are you done with this?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I did
So that we can go
everything
to
on
the
that
other
one.
one here.
Yes. So It's just facts about when you get an E2. So when you, if you want to buy a property as a E2 older, you do have access to the FHA loan, and it says lien here.
Yeah.
Typo, which is insured by the government, so you have a better rate, and so you have like a low down payment. So it depends of the banks, but
Mhm.
yeah. So this is something that you can do, because some people, they're scared of coming here and taking all of their money for the E2, and then they don't have money to buy a house, and they don't want to rent for the rest of their life. But this is an option that you have, so you don't have to have like a big down payment on a house.
So there's
um,
always what you're saying is there's always a way.
yes, exactly, there's always a way.
Yeah.
So the E2 spouse, can work for any company. Well, some companies actually, they want a permanent resident or a citizen, but most of the jobs will be accessible for
Yeah,
the
yeah. Of
spouse.
course, of
Yeah.
course.
Or could actually,
And Julie, especially nowadays, it's so hard to find the good employees.
yeah.
You they're not as picky as they were a few years ago.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, that's absolutely true. Actually, yes. And then, but the spouse can also start a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just a
and
job.
you're
It's part of
completely
business.
free. You do whatever you want. You're not limited. You don't have this threshold of 100,000. You can
Yes.
start your business with $5 if you want. If you feel that you're gonna make millions with it, follow your dream.
Yeah. So I sometimes that's what I have. I have one will
And
start a
especially,
business.
and
Sorry.
excuse me, Julie, but especially the ones, because we have lots of people that are asking us that. Okay, what about if I have an online business and I do it listen, I do, like I have an online business, I sell chairs, but I'm the sole employee of my company, and
So
I
yeah.
earn like a decent living out of this, and probably one of the two in the couple can do the same, work online and have your business, sell on eBay and Amazon or whatever business you have,
Yes.
and still do it.
Yes, and you can, because sometimes people want to come here and they want to start their business, but so it's either they don't want the business to be investigated by the government,
Yeah,
or it's complex,
especially
or
an online business.
yeah,
Yeah,
so they're starting a business. Say one of them will start a business that is, E2, more like simple, because the government likes when it's simple. That
yeah,
doesn't they don't like complex ideas,
yeah.
and so they have options. So they come here and then they can work. They can do whatever they want. However, and it's not written there, but I want to say it, your children, the kids, they cannot work, and sometimes it's not easy for them. So think about it. So if you want to come here and your kids are, I don't know, like teenagers, like 15, 16, 17, you think about it, they're not going to be able to work, so you need to have a plan B for them. When they age out of the visa, they'll have to have their own visa, or you're going to need to make a plan before.
Yeah.
So important. um, you can actually start your business and operate your business and work in your business if you're outside of the US. So you could actually be the one answering the phones and do everything, in your country. And then once you get to that point where you feel like you have a strong case for the E2 visa, you just, file for the visa. So you don't have to be here. You don't have to wait to be here to start. You can start way before, and try to get some, clients and even employees. It's always good when you file for the E2 and you already have an employee,
And we
clients,
we
a
have
structure.
clients actually in Canada
Yes.
that own a cleaning business. It's
Yes.
working.
Yes.
They're thriving, but they're still in Canada because they have like high paying jobs, like over 100,000 each, and they said, okay, we're going to move in the US when we can cover what we're making in Canada and live out of this business in the US, and then we'll move. That's pretty much it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's that, or sometimes they're just they don't want to, they're just waiting for the E2. Sometimes it's a longer process because they, when you start the process of the E2, you have to provide, some documents, and sometimes it
And
can take
actually,
time.
it's not a bad thing because let's say you're Canadian, but it's the same thing if you're British or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
Start your business tomorrow if you want. You're able to start your business. You,
Yes,
you
you
don't have to
can.
be an American citizen. You don't have
Yeah,
to have a visa.
yeah.
Start a business as long as you don't work in the business in
In
the
the
US.
US, yes,
That's it.
exactly. But you can actually start your create your entity in the state you want to move into. You can get a bank account, so you have your EIN and a bank account, and then you can do
You can
everything.
have
I have
employees.
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have clients that they have employees. They're running the business, everything from Canada. So they are running everything, but from Canada. So yes, it is possible. So you can plan it, you can start it, and even though it's not running, like, it will be better when you're here. It's going to be easier when you're here. But
Yes.
having that first steps, it's always uh, good for the immigration. Um,
Yeah, because you showed that it's your business is viable. It's
yes.
been there. It's making money. So yeah,
So in your investment, you can count a lot of things in your investment, and professional fees are part of your investment. So if we're talking about a 100,000, and then you have to pay your attorney fee, and if you hire us, our fees and everything, then it counts toward your investment. So it's
yeah.
something you have to spend anyway. So it does count.
Your
Um,
marketing, your website, your system, your computers, everything. Pitch it in. Your
So
rent.
if you hire an attorney in your home country, though, it will not work. So,
No,
and sometimes what they do is the attorney in your home
but mind
country,
you,
they will
Julie,
have
what do
a,
you when you're moving to the US, it makes sense to hire an American attorney.
well, for a lot
It's
of
for a
people,
lot of people
they,
they don't, but they, like especially, and we've seen that in Quebec, and it makes listen, guys, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. Your attorney has to be. We believe
no, I
has
mean,
to be American. And it
well,
makes
I
a lot
mean,
of sense.
yeah, it will make sense. But sometimes what they do, they kind of have like an office in the US, and so they will
Yeah,
invoice from there, and that will work. But just make sure that you know that.
yeah.
um, if you are,
It's not just that. Like you need to have listen because the attorneys like the stuff that they have to do their magic, and if you need to do your magic, you need to be there. You need to be physically there. Like your attorney needs to know people at the immigration. That's it's the way it works. If you want your file to be like on top of the other file, because that's the way it is. So you want your attorney to be in good standing with
well, a
this,
lot of attorneys actually, I'm thinking quickly, but almost all of them that I work with, they are actually immigrants, so they've done that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. So they know the process.
yes.
Yeah,
Um, so I spoke about it a little before. The loan. So people always ask me, "Can I get a loan? Is would it be possible to get a loan?" And I'm telling them that it's always a good idea to have no loan, but if you have to have a loan, make sure that you have the property to back like it's have to be secured by something else. You know, do you remember some at some point we had clients that they were what the property that they had that was valuable was horses. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. But it's
But
not
then
always like
again,
a
it
house, or
makes
it's
sense.
not a, yeah, but it's not always like a
No,
house, a
that's it
car.
because
It could be
yeah,
anything. Yeah.
yeah,
And the moving
yeah. I think
expenses.
they move in like in not too far from where I am in Central Florida, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do remember that.
yeah.
Um, so the moving expenses. So people are they like, okay, it's it's very expensive to move to the US, and then I don't have money anymore. But usually it's not as expensive. You did actually move, so but when you're selling your stuff, when you're selling all of your, if you're from Canada, you're gonna sell your like your snow stuff.
Of course, that's true. Your skis, your skidoo, your yeah, yeah, of
So
course.
you have enough money to pay for your moving expense. There's so many things you're gonna get rid of when you move that you can sell and use that
Your
money
winter
for.
tires.
Yeah. Yes, so many things when you think about it. It's it's so complicated to live
Yeah,
in the north for
yeah.
me.
No, but same thing. Even for your the way you dress, like in Florida, like half less clothes. You know.
Yeah, what I like is that when you want to go somewhere, you don't have to plan ahead and start
Yeah,
your car and
that's true. That's true. So no, you're right. So there's many things that you're gonna have to think differently. But if we come back to the image there, you were talking about the moving expenses, but it's also stuff that we can help you with because we've been through that, you and I,
yeah.
and there's always a way. There's always a way,
Yeah.
to
When people have a problem, I usually have a solution because
yeah,
everybody at some point they get the same problems, and it's never smooth for anybody.
yeah,
And it's funny because for some people, I think I've said that before, but for some people, opening a bank account is a big deal. But for some people, it's so easy. It's like me going to the bank and opening a bank account. It's weird. And we've been trying to, okay, why was it easy for these people and not easy for them? And we don't really find any reason. So it's really the person who's gonna see you and look at your file, because if you have a business, if you have your certificate of formation of your LLC, and if you have your EIN number, then you should be able to open a bank account, because it's a bank account for your business and not for yourself. So you still, and I remember talking to someone, to the bank, for one of my clients, saying, no, this is not how it should be. You should be able to. Yes, they are foreigners, but the business is not. So we're opening the business account. You should always be able to do that.
plus listen, there's banks that are more, let's say, business friendly than others.
Yes, but I
Let's say that way.
feel, but it's not like just the bank. Sometimes it's really the location. It's
Yeah, yeah,
not, it's so different. Like I don't even understand still, because sometimes people will go to this bank and then same, like they're from the same country, same profile, but then
yeah.
they're gonna have no problem, and then the other couple will do the same, and then they'll have problems. So it's weird, but there's always a way. So you have to have someone who can help you with
Can
that.
help you navigate through
Yes,
the
and where to
chaos.
go and what to say, what to say, and not to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, plus, yeah, of course, and like a lot of bank will ask you, okay, I'm gonna need your social security number. Well, listen, I'm not yet American, so I don't have yet my visa. So, but there's a way to open your bank account. There's
Yeah, and
other
so
ways.
there's a way to get the EIN number without
Yeah,
having to go through the whole foreigner process, and so. But you have
EIN number being the number of your business with the IRS,
yes, because the
which is
IRS.
crucial because you need the EIN number, otherwise you're not in business.
No, so that's the step two. So you
Yeah,
get your LLC, then your EIN, then the bank account. So there's like the three.
yeah.
Creating your form depending on the state, it doesn't. Some states are super easy. Some states are
Hmm.
not easy. Hawaii is not an easy state to go to.
No, but
Um,
Florida is. Florida is quite.
well, Florida is, but Florida is busy, so it takes more time in Florida than like Tennessee, for example, to get your certificate of formation when
Hmm.
you create an LLC. But it used to be super easy in Florida, but like now, I guess it's so popular
Well,
that
everybody's moving to Florida, so it makes
yes.
that's why. Hey guys, if you want to ask question, please do. I can. I'll put the because that's the way Facebook is. I'm so sorry because of this, but that's
I know
the way
last
it is.
time I know last time people were saying they were not able to comment on anything.
Yeah,
So
so follow this link or write it if it's not clickable because I don't think it's clickable. I'm sorry.
no.
We'll find a way on the next video. But yeah, so go there and we'll wait a few minutes. And if you want to address question, please feel free. We'll be more than happy to answer your question. Yeah. So otherwise, if you listen to this show in another day, another moment. Feel free to contact us. We'll always normally answer it, if not at this in the next hour, but obviously the same day we're going to be able to answer you. So
Mhm.
yeah, and we'll do if you have something more, you need something more private, more complicated, more everything. We can do a video call free of charge, and we'll see if if your dream is doable, and if it's realistic to for you to do it. If you want to commit, if you're serious, because you have to be serious about this, but if you're really serious, we can really help you. And so far we have a pretty good success rate, pretty good.
Yeah, no, so that's true. I mean, everybody that was filing for the E2 got their E2.
Yeah, we haven't lost one E2 client so far.
I
Like
don't think I'm thinking, but I don't for the E2. Um, it's it's rare that people will get denied. It's very rare. And when they do, there's always like a reason. So
yeah, and there's the reason or something that, and it happened. We have to be transparent. It happened on other kind of visas because it was information we didn't knew about at the very beginning. Like, oh, you have a criminal record.
yeah,
Well,
oh no, yeah, things like that. So yes,
please,
usually,
please,
yeah.
I don't mind you having a criminal record, but please do tell us. Tell us. We're going to find a way to work, through it, but tell us everything. Just like if you were, working with an attorney, tell us everything, and we'll
Well,
be
we
we'll be
work with
honest with you, and we're
attorneys
going to
at
tell
some
you.
point. So
Yeah,
when we work with attorneys, so at some point
yeah.
they will, we're the
And
first
anyway,
step,
it's
and then they go with the
immigration. They
attorney.
will
But
find out. They won't find out.
yes, that's the thing. So if they find out and then you get denied, but that's bad because you have lost all of your money.
Yeah, and that's on you. It's
Um,
too bad.
yes, exactly. So like you have to be transparent. You have to because there are ways actually. Even if you have criminal records, you can actually move to the US. You just have to have
Yeah,
a waiver.
we can tell you, like, Even to travel, ask for a waiver.
Yeah. So
Or if you don't want to ask for a waiver, wait till you have your pardon, and
yeah.
then but wait for your pardon. That's important.
But also we so that was a show on the E2. But if you do have a business in your country and you want to move to the US to have a new location, so that
Yeah,
means that the business
there's ways.
in your country will still operate when you are in the US, then this is something else. And actually, it's a dual intent visa, L1, and then you can get your green card from this one.
Yeah,
So that's why I like that one, a
and
lot.
it can, yeah, if you want to keep your business open in Canada, well, in Canada or whatever you're from, yeah, the
And
L1 visa is a good one.
and a lot of people. So I was talking. Someone asked me questions this week. He said, "Well, I'm a doctor." I said, "Okay, so but why do you want an E2?" He said, "Well, because I don't want to be attached to a job, So a lot of people that's what they want. They want to be independent, and that's the reason why they picked the E2. He was like, I don't want to work for a hospital. I don't want to have another visa that attach me to this employer, and so that's why he
You want to be
was
independent.
requesting, yeah, for the E2. But they are. That's why I like this visa. People's think it's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, I think it's
It's the price of freedom.
well, it's the price of freedom, and if you do it right, it's an investment.
You're
Because
gonna
do
get
you know
it
how
back. It's a
many
business. You're gonna get it
do you
back.
know
That's
how many
right.
times like people they grow the business, and when they get access to another visa, well, they sell the business and for more. And so that's how it's supposed to be. You may, if your business was created for the E2 and you sell it for the E2, it's going to be so easy. You'll get multiple offers.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And we see it often. And sometimes it was the first thing we said when they said, okay, it's an E2 ready business.
Yeah.
If they say that, maybe not all the time, but it's probably like the previous owner wasn't an E2. And we see that often, like on an ice cream business, on a
Yeah.
such kind of business, because it's because on an ice cream business you need multiple employees, so it's compatible. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, yeah, there are ways. So if people want to move to the US, there are so many ways.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right.
So listen, let me see if I see. Okay, there's no other question as of now. But listen, feel free, guys, to contact us. I always answer, as I told you, normally the same day. So
We should
yeah,
do
we can do a video conversation like we do now, and we'll go from there. And we're going to be totally
I
honest
think
with you and tell you.
I think we got a got message. I got a notification about a message. So if you want to look it up, and you know what we should do? We should do maybe a live show, but at a different time, because we have a lot of people in
Other countries.
yes. So
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
yeah.
Makes sense. Then yeah, especially yeah, those are in India or places
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, of course, I'm open to that.
Well, the person was asking about starting from scratch. You didn't see that, but if you don't
Okay,
see
can you tell? Can you tell us more?
it's because it just popped and then it disappeared. So I don't know where is the comment. I'm sorry.
Uh, Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to see if it's on the E2 group or not. No, it's not there. It's not there. No, it's nah.
Okay, we'll look it up and then answer him. on the chat. So
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've seen it. It just
I'm so
popped
sorry.
and
That's
then
the
disappeared.
way. That's the way it's. I hate Facebook for that. But we're gonna find a way. So don't worry. We're gonna answer you.
All right.
All right. So Julie, thank you very much, and we're gonna try to do something maybe earlier in the next
Yes,
let's say
Randall.
in the next week or 2 weeks. We're gonna do something for friends in Southeast Asia at the earlier time from us.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next
Bye.
time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.